2 quick questions. Do you have a good handshake?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And does your show have a good handshake? In this video, we're talking about what that looks like and how it can totally transform your show. Let's do it. So a handshake is a first introduction to someone. Just by shaking their hand, we might get a feel for who they are. We might get a sense of, oh, that was kind of a weak handshake, or, oh, that was a very confident, very secure handshake. Well, we gather all of this information before the person that we're talking to even says a single word. It's the exact same thing for our shows. We have an opportunity to make that first impression, to have that handshake before the first line of the show is uttered, or even before the first notes of the overture are played. We have this opportunity with the pre-show. So that's everything that happens that the audience can see in the theater space before the start of the actual show. And this is a prime time opportunity to really get the audience ready, to get them excited, to get them prepared for the theatrical journey that you're going to be taking them on. I like to think of having the audience feel like they are stepping into a magical, sacred place when they walk into that theater area, that they know that this place is different and that special things are gonna happen, and that they're just so excited to witness it and to be a part of it. So let's break down how we can do this by looking at some of my very favorite pre-shows. So the pre-show for once takes place in an Irish pub, and it's so cool. When I saw it, the audience members got to go up on stage and get beer and get drinks, and they had the musicians up there playing, and you could go up there and hang out with them like you're in the pub with them.
The show part of the show. Yeah. That's a really unique part of the once
Totally
experience.
different thing.
Oh, very well, my own true love. When I return you back to we will be. It's not the leaving out of the room that brings me, but my darling, when I think of thee.
And it was such a great precursor to the night. It helped you get the vibe of the show. It helped you get the intimacy of that pub feeling. And imagine walking through those doors to see the show, and instead of just a beautifully ornate stage, people are alive on it and doing things, and they're inviting you into it, into their world, quite literally up onto the stage. And that was just a really special night.
It's really fun, not just for the audience, but for us as well on stage, because it really kicks off the night and gets us energized, and yeah, it's great fun. And people immediately connect with, like, you can really see the audience become invested in the show.
Singing along.
Yeah.
You know, if
Come
you
up
know,
and say hello to us.
yeah. And if you know the tunes, sing along.
Absolutely. Come up and say
And
hello.
dance.
I think a great takeaway from the pre-show once is that music and drinks go a really long way. And if the audience doesn't have to wait for the show to begin to be able to partake of those things, and you can just get the party started as soon as they arrive, well, I'll let you know that whenever I see once, I make sure I want to get there early because I don't want to miss the party that inevitably comes before the show. Another pre-show that I loved was from The Play That Goes Wrong. And if you're familiar with that one, it is a comedy, it is a farce, and they get that started right away. It's a show within a show, and so they're setting up for the show, but of course it kind of takes on comedic ways as they're setting up for that. They have actors running through the audience looking for the runaway dog. All of this, of course, ties into the show, but it just pulls you into their world. I was sitting up in the balcony when I saw this one, and the actors were running even up and down the balcony, and that was just really fun. It made me feel really included even in a large auditorium. Again, it sets the stage because you know that you came there to see a comedy, and they do not wait to deliver that. They show up right from the moment you walk in the door, and they have you laughing even before the show starts. So by the time, you know, the metaphorical curtain goes up and the show begins, you are primed, you are ready, you know this is gonna be funny, you already know you like the actors because you've seen them running around, and you are fully invested in the world of this show. And let me interrupt for just one quick second as I say a huge thank you to all of our subscribers. And if you haven't joined our theater family yet, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because at Empty Space Artistry, we make theater and we want to help you make more theater as well. Now, actors don't always have to be present for this pre-show. Sometimes it's just not possible, but you can definitely collaborate and imagine with your set designer and make sure that however the set is at the very top when the audience is walking in, it really invites them in. I can think of shows that I've seen where maybe there's a box, or maybe there's an interesting set piece or prop highlighted in a spotlight. And I walk in and I'm instantly curious, like, what's in the box? Or like, what is that thing and why is it so important, right? All of these things help set the mood so that when the audience walks in, they're not just, you know, waiting for something interesting. They're already pulled into like, what is that? What is going on? And you can even be telling the story even before they get into the performance space. I was working on a show where I was really trying to emphasize the artistic beauty of even mundane moments of our lives. And the story is told in vignettes. And so what we did is we had each vignette have a still picture taken of them, and those stills were made into what looked like paintings. And we transformed our lobby area into an art gallery. We had big white walls and we hung these different paintings. As the audience members were waiting to come into the theater space, hopefully they were taking in some of this art, hopefully like, what are all of these things? And then when they came into the space, the pre-show we had was the characters hanging out at the bar. Again, trying to drive home just the mundane things that we do in our everyday lives. I hope that that kind of helped our audience members enter this world of our show, trying to really hold those things together. The artistic beauty found in these really ordinary everyday things. Going hand in hand with this is the intermission. Again, an often looked over piece of the performance night, but that is oh so valuable. And you can do so many great things with this. I love what they did for intermission for Oklahoma when it was performed at Circle in the Square. And they had crock pots and you could smell it cooking, and then you come down to intermission and you get to partake in the chili that is in those crock pots. Not only does it make you a part of the show, but I love how some of the creative team was talking in an interview about really how this idea of food meshes with our partaking of theater.
Yeah, the food thing's always been a part of it. From the student production, I think there was a kind of idea about dinner theater and like rethinking what dinner theater is, and wondering if there's some kind of connection between why people go to the theater and why people sit down for a meal together.
It was interesting when we moved here, we talked about, do we need the chili? And once you start to deconstruct it, like maybe it comes from off stage, it all unravels. Like eating the chili together at intermission and having that be the real chili that's been on stage is it actually sort of holds it all together in a way.
There is just something so communal about it, and something so important about just slowing down to be a part of that experience with other people. Another example is for a production I saw of The Diary of Anne Frank. And during that show, as you're probably familiar, it's about the Frank family, and they are stuck in hiding. They are confined in this space. And so once the actors came out for the first act, then they stayed up on stage in their confinement for intermission. So the audience was free to get up and go to the lobby, go get concessions, but the Frank family was still very much there. The actors stayed up there and they went right into Act 2. They never left the stage until the end of the show when they are taken away. It really drives that message home that they are stuck there, and really helps us remember to be grateful even just that we're able to get up, that is such a freedom. Just all in all, I just thought that that was such a poignant way to tell that story. But overall, I just think it's so fun to see what other shows have done to make the most of these often underutilized times of pre-show and intermission, and to really challenge ourselves to think outside of the box. Imagine using all 5 of your senses and really exciting the audience's senses as they walk in, right? So not only what do they see, but what do they smell? What do they hear? Even like once, what do they taste? So you really want to think about using the pre-show as an opportunity to prime your audience for whatever that experience is. Now, clearly, a comedy, a drama, a musical, different depending on what you want them to feel, they're going to have different points of entry, different ways that you can craft that pre-show. But really think about using that to the best of your ability, because it is such a great opportunity to bring your audience into the world of your show.
Hi, come on in.
And if you want to hear more about a really crucial part of every show, then check out this video.